What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. Today we're continuing the Toronto Maple Leafs season previews, and today we're looking at Travis Dermott. So Travis Dermott is one of the more interesting ones, and I'm probably going to say that quite a bit because the Leafs do have a lot of interesting pieces going into this season, but he really is, because Dermott signed a bet on yourself type of contract this offseason, and we'll get to that. And he's shown flashes of being a really good defenseman that has the capability of being really good in his own end, while also having good offensive statistics. He's shown flashes of being a top four potential guy. He's still pretty young, and I think that's something that a lot of people forget, that, Dermott, being a second round pick, had a lot of potential, especially from the team that he came from. He was on those really good Erie Otter teams. And, he had the chance to develop in the Toronto Maple Leafs system and really prove that he could be a top four defenseman. And like I said, he's shown flashes of that. This season is kind of a make or break type of year for him, just based off the fact that, there's guys in the system like I was going to say himself, Timothy Liljegren, Rasmus Sandin, and even guys like Mac Hollowell that have shown potential to come in and at least steal bottom pairing minutes, but also, middle pairing and top pairing minutes. Rasmus Sandin, Timothy Liljegren, two of the most interesting prospects in the Leaf system, the two best defensemen that are prospects in the Leaf system as well. So Dermott needs to find a place in there, because guys like Morgan Rielly, Jake Muzzin, and TJ Brody are going to have locked in spots probably for the next few years. And Liljegren and Sandin are going to be pushing for spots. If Lehtinen works out, he'll still be there. Justin Hall has the potential to still be there as well. So Dermott really has to prove something this year. Before I go any further, if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad. We're doing a preview for every single player on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and even some of the guys that are like on the outside looking in. So lots of videos coming up, but let's look into some stats here. So like I said, Dermott is younger, 23 years old, 6 foot 205. A lot of people look at him as a smaller guy, but I've actually stood next to him. He's a little bit bigger than people expect, and he's not afraid. I said this in another video. Dermott's not afraid to be a little chippy. He's not afraid to get rough out front of the net. He's had some injury trouble, but I do believe that he's a guy that's going to continue to get stronger, and that could really benefit him. He can play in all sorts of situations, power play. I think that he should get more of a look on a penalty kill. He's fast. He's got a bit of everything, and that's why I think Dermott really has to prove himself this year to show his value, and the fact that he can be one of the 6 defensemen to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the future. So he's a left-handed shot. He's only been in the league for 3 years. But going back to the 17-18 season, he had 13 points in 37 games played. That's when a lot of the Leafs' younger guys started to break out. 18-19 as well, 17 points in 64 games played. And then this past year, 56 games played, he had 11 points. Now, except for the 18-19 season, he's been a plus defenseman, which is good. And again, I know it's more of a team stat, but I mean, you have to look at everything here. And if you look at hits, I mean, Dermott does throw his weight around. 56 games played, he had 76 hits. And then previously in the 18-19 season, he had 100 hits in 64 games played. The guy's not afraid to throw a hit, and I think that that's a really, really good thing for a team of a lot of guys that don't usually do that. I know they brought in a little bit of help this offseason, but Dermott going out there and showing that he can, at least be a little physical is always a good thing, especially for defensemen. So I think that in terms of his offensive abilities, he could be in the 20-point range. If they do play a full season, you're probably going to get closer to a 56-game season again this year. So he might only be around the 11 to 15-point range again, which is completely fine considering that he's not here to be an offensive juggernaut. The Leafs need a little bit more of a two-way style game from Travis Dermott. So if he can just provide that, then the Leafs will be fine. I want to look at his contract. So we're going to go to cap friendly here. His cap hit $874,000. So this is the deal that he signed this year as a, prove yourself type of contract. And by that, I think I said it a little bit before. He signed this deal knowing that maybe he could have got a little bit more on a 2-year deal, kind of the similar thing that Mikheyev did. Although I don't know if we know a little bit more about Mikheyev. I would argue he's in the same boat as Dermott, but Mikheyev wanted to go the route of getting that 2-year deal. But this is more of a, okay, we're going to give you this short-term 1-year cheaper contract, and then you can either cash in with a really good season and get a 3 or 4 year deal from us, or get traded and get it somewhere else. Or you're going to continue to get these low cap hits and you might not even be a Toronto Maple Leaf next year, because that's exactly what Andreas Johnsson did. He signed a very cheap, under $1 million contract. I believe it was around the same or even cheaper than this. It might have been like $800,000 or $750,000. And then he ended up with a contract that was $3.4, $3.2 million. So you have to kind of take that bet. And it was like a 3 or 4 year deal. Obviously, Johnsson is with the Devils now, and he's going to get a good shot to show how good he is there. And I wish him all the best. But Dermott has an opportunity to do the same thing for himself, because he's only been on these entry-level contracts, less than $1 million. And, he obviously wants to cash in. He wants to be in that $1 million to $2 million range. He wanted to be there this year, but if he can have a really good season, he might get a $2.5 million deal for a couple of years, nice little bridge contract or something like that. If he really, really plays well, who knows? Maybe he's close to $3 million. I don't think it would be from the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it would be something to definitely look at. I like Dermott. I think he's a very, well-rounded guy when he's at his best, but when he's not, look out, because he has some problems in his own end. And I think people just ignore that because he's a great guy, he's funny, whatever. Like, you kind of have to take the personal, oh, he seems really cool type of thing away from the hockey on the ice, because he's had his own issues in his own end. He's been stripped of the puck. He's been, taking wrong routes to the puck. Everybody has these issues, and I'm not a pro, but I'm just saying, if we're really saying here that you want to improve the Leafs blue line, Travis Dermott has to have a really good year this year. He could be a dark horse for the Toronto Maple Leafs and really provide something that they've been looking for, and that's good two-way depth and a guy that can play in their bottom pairing but also give you good minutes on the second pairing. Ideally, I think they'd like to see him with Muzzin, because they don't want to continue to play Justin Hall there if they can get a really good two-way Travis Dermott, because his ceiling should be higher than Justin Hall's. That's just how it is. It 100% should be. So if they can get that out of him, then the Leafs are going to be looking way better this season. So let me know what you guys think. Predict down below how Travis Dermott is going to do this year. I think he's going to be great. I think that he knows that he has to cash in on another contract. So definitely going to have to provide some points and also some good play in his own end. So if you are new, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And more previews are coming. Make sure to watch all of them if you have time. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.